Sai is a disgusting, ugly creature who was abandoned at birth because his parents hated looking at him. Sai lives in a world where magic, demons, and monsters are as common as bad Wi-Fi. But hey, this guy's got grit. After grinding harder than a caffeine-addicted college student, he somehow manages to pass the entrance exam for the Royal City's prestigious Magic Academy. Things are looking up. Sai's making friends, life's good, and he's even got a crush. But plot twist, Sai gets slapped with the title of the next Demon King. Yep, the guy who just wanted to fit in is now destined to destroy the world. But let's rewind to where it all began. Sai arrives in the Royal City, ready to start his new life at the Academy of Magic Arts. He's climbing the stairs when a blue-haired ninja girl, let's call her June, zooms past him, accidentally giving him a full view of her Gaiad. But before he can thank the universe, he spots an old lady struggling with her suitcase. Being the good Samaritan he is, Sai rushes to help, but the old lady's suspicious, thinking he's some scammer trying to sell her fake insurance. Sai, being the awkward hero he is, ends up in a tug-of-war over her bag. Enter June, who sees this and assumes Sai's rizzing her grandma. One flying kick later, Sai's eating pavement. Grandma clears things up, and June's mortified. She apologizes and introduces herself as a ninja from a prestigious clan. Sai, trying to play it cool, says he's a transfer student at the same academy. They hop on a train together, and June's impressed that Sai passed the tough entrance exam. Sai blushes and admits he studied hard because he wants to be a Catholic priest. June is horrified, thinking he is into choir boys and pipe organs. Sai nervously laughs it off and says he wants to be the best version of himself. Classic first date talk, right? June buys it and reveals her family's legacy of samurais and ninjas. They even do a fancy ninja handshake, swearing to have each other's backs. They finally arrive at the Academy of Magic Arts, which looks like Hogwarts on steroids. A statue swallows their luggage, don't ask, and June gives Sai a quick tour. Afterward, she sends him off to the nurse's office for a physical exam. Enter Tori, a blonde bombshell who's running the show. She summons a magical spirit that looks like it just walked out of a smoke-filled bar. The spirit assigns each student their future job title. Sai's confident he'll be a priest, but the spirit drops the bombshell. Sai's destined to be the Demon Lord. Cue the chaos. Students freak out, Tori tries to calm everyone down, and Sai's left wondering how his life went from future priest to public enemy number one. Tori reassures him he can still study at the academy, but warns him there are people who will try to eliminate him. Cool, cool, cool. Tori takes Sai to his new class, where he spots June, but she's not her usual bubbly self. Tori introduces Sai to the class, and let's just say the vibe is tense. Everyone immediately hides behind their desks like he's carrying the plague. Trying to diffuse the tension, Sai launches into a speech about inequality and discrimination. But instead of inspiring anyone, he ends up sounding like an Austrian painter. Tori, the teacher, tells him to just sit in the back and chill. Sai notices June still giving him the cold shoulder, and Tori announces that June will remain class president. But then, out of nowhere, a twink named Miwa stands up and nominates Sai for president. Sai's like, "What is this guy smoking?" and quickly declines, suggesting he'll take cleaning duty instead. Big mistake. Turns out cleaning duty at this school is reserved for the most ruthless, villainous people alive. June, now furious, pulls out her sword and accuses Sai of toying with her feelings. She challenges him to a duel right then and there. Miwa, still clueless, declares that the winner gets to be class president. June goes full Goku, glowing with power, and fires a Kamehameha at Sai. He barely dodges, realizing she's not messing around. Sai tries to subdue her, holding her tightly, and whispers, "It's all a misunderstanding." But June's having none of it. Even though she was feeling him, she pushes him away and charges again. In a shocking twist, Sai catches June's sword strike with his bare hands. His arms start glowing, his shirt rips, because anime. And Tori realizes Sai has too much aura, and she casts a barrier just as, boom! The classroom explodes. Everyone's covered in ash, and Sai is standing over June's naked body, leaving everyone to misunderstand what happened. Later that evening, Sai's back at his dorm, trying to process the chaos, when the twink Miwa shows up, offering to do anything for him. Yes, anything. Sai, clearly creeped out by his new stalker, asks where the girl's dorm is. Miwa leads him there and Sai climbs up to Jun's window to apologize. Jun, still furious, sees him and starts screaming. The entire dorm comes out to watch the lovers quarrel, laughing at Jun, which only makes her angrier. She chases Sai around the dorm with her sword. As Sai is running for his life, he trips and rolls through the forest, only to land in front of a psychotic ginger who believes Sai is her prince. Before Sai can answer, Jun shows up, rage-blind, and attacks. The redhead steps in, using magic to slow Jun down. Jun, not backing down, uses a cloning technique and charges at Sai again. The redhead jumps on Sai to protect him, and Sai tries to stop Jun, but boom, another explosion. When the dust settles, Jun's knocked out, and Sai's left wondering why his life is a series of explosions. Suddenly, a portal opens, and a green-haired android named Kororo descends. She heals Jun with an injection gun, and Jun, remembering the chaos, starts crying like a bitch and runs off. Sai tries to follow, but Kororo stops him, saying he needs to report to the headmaster. When she hears the headmaster's name, the redhead looks terrified and turns invisible, leaving her clothes behind because anime logic, and bolts. Sai has no choice but to follow Kororo to the headmaster's office, where Tori's already waiting. Kororo explains that while Sai's explosions could have been deadly, he didn't mean to hurt anyone. Sai wonders if she can read minds, but she says she only analyzes emotions. The headmaster, after some dramatic hesitation, decides Sai's still a student who needs protection. He announces that the government will assign someone to keep an eye on Sai 24/7. Sai panics, wondering how he will goon if someone is always watching. Tori takes Sai aside, telling him Kororo will be his safety net to prevent more incidents. Sai explains that he couldn't control his power, and Tori theorizes he has an insane amount of mana he can't handle. She gives him a notebook with all the students' details, saying he can contact them via telepathy. Later, Sai returns to his dorm, collapses on his bed, and Kororo hops into the cupboard to sleep, because apparently androids recharge in cupboards now. The next morning, Sai's on his way to class when a purple-haired bombshell named Fuji stops him. She's the head of the girls' dorm and, with a smirk, asks if he had fun last night. Sai, panicking, starts explaining he just wanted to apologize to Jun. Fuji laughs, saying she was just teasing, and hints they'll meet again soon. In class, Sai notices Jun and the redhead Soa are absent. Everyone's staring at him like he's the anime version of Jeffrey Epstein. Meanwhile, Kororo's just sitting on the floor, waiting for class to end like a robot with no social life, because she literally doesn't. After class, Sai heads to the bathroom, and Kororo follows him because apparently, androids don't understand personal space. Sai locks himself in a stall, pulls out his phone book, and calls Fuji. He asks for help making up with Jun, and Fuji tells him to meet her in the mountains, alone. Sai points out that Kororo will follow him everywhere, but Fuji casually mentions he can deactivate her by pressing her tail. Sai's like, "Cool, thanks for the tip," and heads to the mountains after lunch, with Kororo trailing behind like a lost puppy. While searching for Kororo's tail, Sai gets hit by something and falls. He finally spots the tail, but before he can press it, Kororo senses danger. A giant demon dog appears, charging straight at them. Kororo shoots at it, but the dog's too strong. Sai pushes Kororo out of the way and grabs the dog by the neck. Kororo tells him to hold it steady so she can finish it, but Sai uses his magic to drain the dog's mana, turning it into a harmless puppy. Kororo's impressed, but then the bushes rustle. The puppy chases after Soa, who's hiding in the bushes. She panics and disappears, leaving Sai and Kororo confused. Kororo finds a hidden bag and starts investigating, giving Sai the perfect chance to sneak up and press her tail, deactivating her. Fuji shows up, assuring Sai that Kororo won't remember being deactivated. Sai thanks her and asks how to make up with Jun. Fuji offers to vouch for him and gives him 2 magic tablets and a special gun. If 2 people get hit by it, they'll understand each other's feelings better. Fuji also invites Sai to join the disciplinary committee, and he agrees. She leaves, and Sai reactivates Kororo, who's clueless about what just happened. The puppy catches Soa's scent again, and Sai chases after her, finally catching her as she begs for help. Kororo accuses Sai of trying to diddy Soa and pulls out handcuffs. Soa clears things up, saying she was the one who grabbed him. She then asks Sai to be her friend, because apparently, almost getting mauled by a demon dog is a great bonding experience. A few nights later, Sai and Miwa are chilling in a bath together because anime. Miwa explains there are two sides to the school. The normal side, which June keeps in check, and an underground side rumored to be a hub for dark magicians. Miwa doesn't know much about the underground, but it's clearly shady. Sai wonders if he'll ever see it, but Miwa cuts the bath short, claiming it's time to get out. As they leave, Kororo peeks in and makes a snarky comment about Miwa's pipe organ. Sai scolds Kororo for being rude, but then Fuji calls. She's arranged a meeting with June, but first, Sai needs to present himself to the school council, because apparently, making amends with your crush requires a formal presentation. Sai dresses up and heads to the council room, where he's introduced to the disciplinary committee. The president, Riri, introduces the members: Michi, the pink-haired girl, Ka, the furry, and Nuru, who probably has a tragic backstory. Riri explains that they've heard about Sai's fighting skills, which are essential for keeping troublemakers in line. Sai's officially accepted as a member, and the news spreads through the school faster than a TikTok trend. The students aren't thrilled that the Demon Lord now has authority over them. Later, Sai prepares for his meeting with Jun by loading the magic bullets Fuji gave him into the gun. He debates whether to deactivate Kororo again, but gets interrupted by a loud knock on the window. It's Soa, hanging from the windowsill with a bag of biscuits like a snack-loving ninja. She lets herself in, sits on Sai's bed, and starts munching on crackers while showing off her rice cooker, which was banned in her dorm. She asks Sai to store it for her, but he refuses. Soa leaves the rice cooker behind anyway, and Sai, running out of time, finally deactivates Kororo and rushes off to meet June. Sai heads to the underground facility, but before he can even process the creepy dungeon vibes, he's ambushed by a group of goons. They surround him, ready to take down the future Demon Lord. But when one guy tries to hit Sai with a baton, he gets zapped by Sai's mana. Sai quickly gets the hang of controlling his power, breaking one guy's arm and sending another flying with a magic blast. The goons try using their own magic, but the nonchalant Sai blocks it easily. Their leader, desperate, pushes a bruised and tied-up Miwa in front of Sai, threatening to hurt him if Sai doesn't surrender. Sai, not caring about the twink, raises his arms, and suddenly, every goon's leg is broken. The leader tries one last attack with a chain, but Sai grabs it, zaps him, and slams him into a wall. Sai breaks one of the leader's legs to make an example out of him, and the remaining goons flee in terror. Just as Sai's about to finish the job, June shows up and accuses him of being evil. Sai tries to explain he was ambushed, but June's not buying it. She pulls out her sword, ready to fight him to the death. Sai realizes talking won't work, so he pulls out the magic gun Fuji gave him. But surprise, the magic tablets are gone. June thinks Sai's planning something demonic and throws smoke bombs, escaping with the injured students. Sai's left standing. Sai takes the injured Miwa back to his dorm where Kororo helps patch him up. Sai apologizes for deactivating her and explains everything that happened. Kororo then drops a bombshell. Tori called, and June has officially declared war on Sai. Apparently, the school allows this. Sai's now on his own to deal with June's wrath. The next day, June makes a dramatic announcement. An all-out war will be waged against Sai, the future Demon Lord, to save the school and the world. She invites anyone with a grudge or just too much free time to join her in taking Sai down. By evening, a massive army has gathered behind June, armed with crossbows, swords, and probably some pitchforks for extra drama. Sai stands alone at the top of the stairs, looking like the protagonist of a tragic anime. But Miwa, the ultimate homie, shows up to stand by his side. Sai tells him to run, but it's too late. June declares the battle started, and arrows start flying. Sai pushes Miwa out of the way as magic blasts and arrows explode around him. When the dust settles, Sai's running up a tower like he's in a parkour video. June orders her troops to charge, and Sai's dodging projectiles like he's in the Matrix. But eventually, he gets cornered with nowhere to run. June steps forward, sword in hand, ready to deliver the final blow. Sai realizes there's no point in trying to reason with her. June starts slashing at him, and Sai barely dodges her attacks. He's ready to accept his fate, not wanting to hurt June, but just as she's about to finish him off, Soa shows up. Soa drops a bombshell. Sai and June are actually in love. The crowd of simps is devastated, and they immediately turn on June. She has no choice but to join Sai in defending themselves. But Soa's got a plan. She shouts at Kororo to engage the missile, and the green-haired android fires a round at Sai. Sai creates a shield, and the round explodes, raining cooked rice everywhere. The students, now covered in rice, suddenly become happy and chill. Soa reveals she stole the magic tablets Fuji gave Sai and put them in the rice, turning everyone into Sai's friends. Kororo analyzes the rice and finds traces of dark magic in the drugs. Sai's confused. How did Fuji get her hands on dark magic? Is she hiding something? Meanwhile, the students are too busy enjoying their rice-induced happiness to care. A few days later, Tori arranges a practical magic class in the playground. She explains they'll learn to control their mana by teaming up and playing with a magic ball. Sai turns to Miwa, but Miwa's still aching from last night, and tells Sai to find another partner. Sai looks around and asks about Soa, but Miwa says she's a loner who never attends practical magic classes. Sai realizes no one knows about Soa's invisibility powers. He spots students playing with magic balls and feels a tap on his shoulder. It's June. June agrees to be his partner and tells him to focus on the flow of mana. She throws the magic ball at him and he catches it easily. But when he tosses it back, it explodes, leaving a crater, and once again, Sai makes June unconscious. Sai asks Tori if June's okay, and she reassures him she's just knocked out. Tori suggests Sai enter the self-discipline chamber to better control his powers. Miwa warns against it, but Tori smacks him with her shoe, because anime, and insists it's safe. Sai packs a bag and a water bottle, because hydration is important, and heads to the chamber with Kororo. The chamber warns it won't open for 12 years, but Sai's like, whatever, let's do this. Inside, they find Soa, who's snuck in using her invisibility. As they sit against the wall, Sai notices a false panel. Behind it, they find an old parchment with a map. Soa recognizes it as the school map, and Sai reads the text. It leads to a treasure. The map claims that finding the treasure requires 3 special keys, but there's a catch. If you're unworthy, you'll die trying. Soa's all in, ready to hunt for treasure, but Sai refuses. He's got bigger fish to fry, like meditating to control his mana. But Soa's not having it. She starts bothering Sai because, of all things, she really needs to pee. Sai's stressed, Soa's punching the door and screaming for help, and Kororo offers to be the recipient for Soa's golden shower. Sai shuts that down immediately, because no one needs that kind of chaos. Thankfully, Fuji shows up outside the chamber for some mysterious reason and opens the door. Soa bolts out like a racehorse, disappearing into the bushes to relieve herself. Fuji's confused, but before she can ask questions, she spots the old map on the floor. Fuji picks it up, her face full of shock, and tells Sai she's taking it. Without another word, she walks away, leaving Sai wondering what's up with her lately. The next morning, Sai finds out someone's plastered copies of the treasure map all over the school. He's at the notice board, wondering if Fuji's behind it, when Fuji herself shows up, furious. She accuses Sai of stealing the map from her room and posting it everywhere. Sai denies it, and Kororo points out the real culprit, Soa, who's flying around, happily pasting maps everywhere. Soa claims every adventurer deserves a shot at the treasure. Fuji storms off, annoyed, while Sai returns to class, wondering why chaos always follows him. In class, Sai notices Soa and June are absent. Miwa explains June's dealing with family issues, which makes Sai feel a little better. But then, the door bursts open, and injured students are carried in on stretchers. One student clutches a bloody map, claiming they were ambushed by a monster while searching for the treasure. The school's in panic mode. Riri, the council president, calls Sai and informs him that 19 students are injured. She orders him to call a student meeting and take action. Sai steps up, announcing that pursuing the treasure is now banned, and anyone breaking the rules will face strict punishment. The students aren't happy. They accuse Sai of creating the map, since Soa's his friend. They start throwing cans and bottles at him, calling him an evil dictator. Then, out of nowhere, a green-haired girl named Teru charges at him, trying to kick him. Sai dodges, but the podium isn't so lucky. Teru keeps attacking, and Sai eventually catches her in a headlock. She demands he prove the map isn't a trap, so Sai announces he'll investigate the treasure himself. Teru lets him go, introducing herself and warning him they'll meet again. Later, Riri tells Sai he doesn't have to investigate, but Sai insists. He's determined to find out what's going on. The next morning, Fuji gives him a magical gun that can shrink into a small item, telling him to find the treasure and bring it to her. Sai, Miwa, and Kororo prepare for their expedition. But just as they're about to leave, Teru ambushes Sai, jumping on his back and declaring she's coming with them. They travel through the forest, and by nightfall, they reach the entrance to a dark dungeon. Inside, they find themselves surrounded by gravestones. Kororo discovers shotgun shells and theorizes there was a bloody war here long ago. Sai feels bad for the fallen soldiers, but his sympathy is cut short when he senses something behind them. A huge, windy tornado appears, and Teru charges at it with her sword, trying to cut through it. Spoiler: you can't cut air with a sword. She gets slapped by the tornado and falls back. Sai tells her to back off, but she refuses, so he takes out his gun and, like a true American, shoots the problem away. The tornado dissipates, and bats scatter everywhere. Sai takes a deep breath, but Teru smothers him with praise, jumping on top of him. As they tumble to the ground, Sai spots a fresh grave. He removes the gravestone and finds a small toy recorder that mutters instructions before dying. Following the instructions, they discover a massive underground city. The underground city is a complete wreck, looking like it lost a fight with a tornado and a bulldozer. Sai and his crew wander through the ruins until they stumble upon an armory with its door wide open. Inside, the walls are lined with creepy, hollow knight armors. Miwa freaks out, convinced the armors are moving. Sai reassures him they're just empty suits. Until one of them actually moves and tries to chop him in half with an axe. Sai dodges at the last second, pulls out his gun, and unloads on the knight. But surprise, the armor's too tough, and the knight emerges unscathed. The knight charges at Sai, but Miwa, proving he's a true G, rushes in to help. He starts hitting the knight, only to get kicked away like a soccer ball. Just as the knight's about to finish Miwa, Sai steps in, blocking the axe with 2 fingers. Everyone's shocked, and Sai uses his insane strength to slam the knight into the ground. The knight runs off, and Sai picks up Miwa, telling him never to risk his life like that again. Meanwhile, Teru finds a small phone with instructions pointing them to a limestone cave with an underground hot spring. Kororo uses her special antenna to locate the cave, and they head inside. The hot spring is beautiful, surrounded by tunnels. Kororo checks the water and gives it the green light. Sai strips down, because anime, and checks for dangers. But before he can relax, Teru ambushes him, latching onto him like a leech. Sai asks Teru if she knows what the treasure actually is. She gets serious and reveals it's something left behind by the previous Demon King. Sai's shocked, but before he can dig deeper, Jun shows up having followed their tracks. Jun jumps down, sword in hand, and tells Sai to stay away from Teru, claiming she's a government agent. Sai looks at Teru, who smirks and admits she was sent to help him achieve his destiny. Jun and Teru start arguing, and soon they're in a full-blown sword fight, hurling insults at each other. Sai, knowing bros before hoes, starts looking for Miwa when he spots a massive wolf on a shrine. He warns the girls, but it's too late. The wolf attacks. Sai intercepts it, landing a punch that sends the wolf flying. But the beast isn't done and bites into Sai's arm before collapsing lifeless into the water. Sai's confused, but Teru doesn't waste time. She grabs a small object from the shrine and throws it to Sai before running off. Jun gets dressed, explaining she followed Sai because Teru's her eternal rival. Soa and Fuji show up, and Fuji reveals she poisoned the beast. They piece together the clues, and Fuji admits her brother created the map. The items are toys from their childhood, but she doesn't recognize the final item, a small sword pendant. Fuji twists the pendant, and a magic circle appears beneath her, teleporting her away. Kororo explains it's a teleportation device, and they all jump in, following Fuji to a dark, cobblestone-covered area. Riri, the council president, appears and congratulates them for completing the puzzles and obstacles. She reveals it was all a game, and the remaining members were part of it too. There's no actual prize, and she tells them to return to school. June demands an explanation, but before Riri can say anything, Fuji slips past them and bolts toward a building. Riri orders her council to stop Fuji, but it's too late. Fuji throws a magic bottle that explodes, blocking their path. Riri tries to warn Fuji about the dangers, but Fuji's already inside. Sai tries to follow, but Riri stops him, saying there's no guarantee anyone will make it back alive if they enter. Sai's confused and asks where they are. Riri reveals they're in the deepest level of the Dark Dungeons, the former base of the previous Demon Lord. The place is still packed with evil energy, and Riri can't risk Sai, the future Demon Lord, being tempted by the power inside. She argues that if Sai loses control, the whole world will pay the price. Sai argues they need to save Fuji, but Riri says Fuji's as good as dead. Anyone who touches the Demon Lord's relic dies. Sai ignores her and rushes in to save Fuji, but it's too late. Fuji's already deciphered the password her brother left, which triggers the destruction of the chamber. From the rubble emerges a massive evil dragon, asking who dared wake it from its slumber. It mocks Fuji, saying only the strongest can control it and become the ruler of the world. Anyone who fails will die. Sai tries to save Fuji, but Riri blocks him again, saying she'll kill him if she has to. The dragon plays a memory of Fuji's brother, revealing he was tasked by a powerful wizard to find and destroy the relic. But the wizard betrayed him, wanting the relic for himself. Fuji's brother hid the relic and scattered clues, hoping only the strongest and smartest could find it. He paid with his life, cursed to eternal hell. Riri doesn't care about the backstory and stands her ground, telling everyone to back off. Sai decides to fight, telling Kororo to take Miwa to safety. June stays by Sai's side, drawing her blade. Riri powers up, using a spell to make her hands stretchy, because anime, and lands a brutal punch on Sai, sending him spitting blood. June tries to intervene, but Riri paralyzes her with magic. Riri tells June that if Sai becomes the Demon Lord, he'll destroy everything. June fires back, saying she'll kill Sai herself if that happens, but for now, she believes in him. Sai, enraged, powers up and blasts Riri away. He rushes to Fuji just as the dragon's about to impale her. Sai lands a punch so powerful it obliterates the dragon's horns. He grabs Fuji and tells the dragon to back off. The dragon attacks, but Sai blocks it with a magic barrier and counters with a punch. June and the others are shocked to see a mere mortal going toe-to-toe with the strongest entity in the world. Sai lands a final punch that knocks the dragon down, but he collapses from exhaustion. The dragon accepts defeat and crowns Sai as its new master, declaring him the new Demon Lord who will rule the world. Fuji's thrilled and starts hyping Sai up, but he's not exactly excited about the title. As Sai tries to process everything, Riri grabs him and plants a kiss on him, saying she believes he'll be the kindest Demon Lord ever. They take a picture with Sai on the throne and the dragon behind him, marking the start of a new era. And so begins the reign of Sai, the Demon Lord, as he waits for his next adventure. Because let's be real, this guy's life is one chaotic mess after another.